Anybody watch a video yet of this stuff? I was covering before. Actually, there's I think out on Moodle, I put out on Moodle, I put a problem. It's similar to what we're going to do here. You can go work. Be a really good idea. Um, anyway, this is just a way to do some annuities, to do some present values and some future values. So, how much do you need to make? How much do you need to have when you retire? You know, when are you going to retire? You know, how are you going to get there? This is something you can do with these skills. Okay? Um, let's see. Let's go by when you're going to start working. Okay, so when you are, let's say when you're 22 years old. Some of you will be a little bit older, right? How old you all are. You started school at 18, 19, 22, 21. You started with us. 22. Age. At age 22, let's say your salary, let's round it off, is $50,000 per year. Not kidding. Right? Should be. You guys be making 50. No, I'm not. Yeah, you are probably. Okay, just keep working. All right, and let's say that you are a smart person. You put away 15% per year of your salary. Okay? And we'll be real conservative on this. We'll say you get a raise for 5 years. Okay? So let's say you're going to, for the first 5 years, so this is age 22 to 27, I guess. So then 27 on, let's say by then you've doubled your salary, okay? So we're being conservative because obviously you get raises every year. Some make 100, but we'll do it that way. So this is going to be for 5 years. This is going to be for 5 years. What does that sound like? What's 15% of 50,000?
7,500.
Yeah, so I wouldn't give you that, but you could calculate it, couldn't you? Right? So you're putting in 7,500 every year. And you might be putting in 5,000 of your 50,000, which is a lot, because after taxes, that's still a lot, right? That's big. Although you can do it before taxes, right? 401k, my TIA preference is something support taxes. If you have an employer plan, or you can set up your own, you can do it before taxes as long as you don't take the money out until you retire. It's fine. Okay. And what would this one be? 15,000 every year. So you're putting in 10, and your employer's putting in 5. Got the idea? Okay. Actually, it's the other way around. I'm putting 5 in the hour. Okay, anyway, and then let's say you think, well, no, you keep going. So then we'll do, let's say it takes you longer. Let's do 10 years at this level. You know, you're gonna do well. Okay. So this would be the first 5 years is that. The second 5, I guess this is 32. Yeah. Okay. So this is for 10 years. So now you're 42 years old. Okay. Right. So what's this going to be? 30,000 a year. Yeah. Okay. And it includes a bunch of inflation too, probably. Okay. So at age 42, what do you want to do? When do you want to retire? You want to retire at 50? He's going to retire. You want to go to 65? He's going to go at 50? Anybody have other? Want to do 50? How long are you going to live? Oh. So how many years do you have to live off of this? He wants to do 50. Let's do 50. It'll be fun. We'll show him it's going to be a pop. Okay? So, relative. Popper is all a relative term, right? If you get used to living on $200,000 a year, living on 50 is not fun. If you never made more than 50, living at 50 for the rest of your life probably is normal. Strange, isn't it? Strange. Okay, but it's true. Okay, so 42. Let's say he never gets another raise. He's going to go up now to you slow down. You decide you're going to slow down and you're going to go do something that's more fun than working in public accounting maybe. You're not going to be in the grind anymore. So you got 10 years at 200,000, and then you get 250. But you're gonna plateau. And so he wants to go to 50. I hear by decree it's 52. He's going to retire at 52. Okay? We're going to retire. No more salaries. So how many years did he get at that? 10 years? Okay. So what would you call this thing? What's 15% of that?
37.5.
37.5. Okay, everybody can do this, right? Getting the skills built, so this is just not a big deal, right? Stay with me. My principal students would be lost now. Wouldn't they? So just think about what you're developing for yourselves, you guys. Ability to think, concentrate, figure things out. Okay, so, and then when's he going to die? I mean, this has got to be part of your retirement plan.
65.
He's going to die at 65?
No,
You really don't
75.
like it.
75.
92? Probably. Right now, life expectancy is getting up to 90. Okay? If you make it past 60 or something, you're in trouble. You'll live a long time. Right? So my dad says, well, you're probably not going to die young now. Sorry. Right? Because I'm 65. He says, the guy keep numbers around 65.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Doctor's code. Okay, so anyway, so he's got 40 years that he's going to be retired. And how many years does this young man think he's going to work? 30 years. That's it, isn't it? Okay. This is what my son thinks too. He's getting close to. He's over 40. He's getting close to being retired, and he's nowhere near on his retirement plan. I'm sure. It's funny. Not that everything should be related to your retirement plan, but you probably ought to plan on it. Okay, guys. What I would like you to do is tell me how much David is going to get per year. And let's assume that he takes it out at the end of each year, because at this year here, he's going to have his income, right, when he's 42. So he's going to take it every year from then on for 40 years. So, okay, so what do I have? What's that? What am I asking you for? What is his ordinary annuity he can draw? What do you think, right? What's his ordinary annuity that he's going to get for the rest of his life? What is that? What are these things? This is a 5-year what? Annuity.
Yeah.
When is he going to make his deposits? Not at the beginning of the year. He hasn't earned it yet. Actually, it'll be at the end of each month. But we'll make the assumptions all at the end of the year. So what is that thing going to be?
Ordinary.
It's an ordinary annuity too. 5 years at $7,500. Big deal, right? Those are the cash flows. 5 years, 10 years, 10 years. Got it? And this is a 40-year one, but he's going to be receiving that. So what do you need to know? I think you ought to calculate the future value at the end of 30 years, and then calculate what your ordinary annuity is. Do you think so? We're doing a future value here, and then that will become a present value at that point, and you'll figure out what your ordinary annuity payment's going to be. What I want is the payment, okay? And I'd probably ask you, what's the future value of the retirement plan? We can do that. Future value of the retirement plan at retirement. Savings plan. Maybe we shouldn't call them retirement plans. Maybe we should call them investing plans, because that's what they are. Yeah. Okay. And then you get to use it up. My wife and I are going to try not to use ours up and try to leave it to our grandkids. That's just really. But we also don't spend a lot of money, so not really. I complain about her, but you spend $100 on dinner or something, $200.
Like on groceries or just like on eating?
I'm going to eat. 200. Sure. 100. That's inexpensive. No, it is. You can have good food for $20. Good at McDonald's is $20 for two. Pretty much. And who wants to eat that stuff? Yeah. Anyway, so discount rate. We don't have that yet. We better have some discount rates, huh?
Yeah.
And then you can calculate with that information a present value or a future value. I think we want to do a future value, don't you? I don't think we care what the present value is, but we're gonna treat this future value as a present value out there in order to calculate our ordinary annuity. That's how you're gonna do this. So what interest rates is he gonna earn? Okay, he's gonna be aggressive for the 30 years. Okay? Which is not real aggressive. He's gonna put it in a fully diversified portfolio, which for me, do you have 13% on your table? Or do you have 12? 14? You're not gonna earn 14 anyway. Let's use 12%. Let's say the stock market earns 12%. He's in the stock market for all 30 years. 12%. Then what he's going to do is he is going to be a crazy person in my view. And when he retires, he's going to earn 6% because he wants, right, for the last 40 years, he's going to get 6% because he wants to be safe and not lose his money. This is what people do. If I was going to live 40 more years, I wouldn't try to be safe. I'd try to have more money. I'm 65 years old. We have all our money in the stock market. When I die, I'm encouraging my wife to leave it in the stock market. Try to educate her as to why. Stock market earns 12 to 13% a year. This past year it's earned nothing. Less than nothing went down. But over my lifetime, 12 to 13%. You know what houses have increased by in value nationwide? On average about 2 to 3%. Where do you want your money? Exponential growth. Oh. Treasury bonds right now are 2 to 3%. No risk. Sure, no risk, but inflation can eat that up, right, over time. Okay, so anyway, go. Could you calculate this? What would you do? By the way, after the end of the annuity, what do you do with your money? That first annuity for 5 years. Age 22 to 27. What's he going to do when he's 27? Is he going to spend that money?
No.
Is he going to have it sit there earning nothing? Or is he going to stay invested? Stay invested. I'm going to use the 15 for the next 5 years.
Oh,
So I'm investing $7,500 for 5 years, and I'm leaving it for another 25 years. Then I'm investing $15,000 for 5 years, and I'm leaving it for another 20 years until I retire. And then I'm investing $30,000 a year for 10 years, and then I'm leaving it for 10 more years till I retire. And then I'm investing $37,000 for 10 years, and then I'm going to retire, so I don't leave it for any time. And then I'm going to add together all 4 of those annuities, right? And that's how much I've got. Oh, okay, so there's multiple computations here. Each one of those becomes a future value, each one of those annuities, and then it has to grow to even later future periods. Okay. You guys didn't try to do that problem I had online, did you? And I suggest you look at it. I had a problem online very similar.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I didn't mention it. Let's see if
You mentioned it at the beginning of the class. I haven't done it since then.
Yeah. Oh, no. I thought I told you last time. Maybe just in my syllabus I told you.
Maybe.
Nobody reads that. All right.
Oh, sure.
A little small there.
Did you freeze it? Oh, I have all this.
Get all the information.
Yeah.
I was going to go out to Moodle and see if I could find that other problem.
Can you freeze it on the screen? Freeze the screen?
I can make it half the screen or something, but I wanted something else up here.
Okay.
I can quit moving it around. That would be helpful probably. Yeah, I think that'd be a nice first step with the future value of each one of those, right? Annuity streams. And then once you have that lump sum at the end of it, compound it forward to age 42. When Crazy David's going to retire on a subsistence living. No, he just won't be rich.
how you show them.
You can carry a Bible around. It doesn't have to be a theology Bible. It's a really good book, actually.
It is.
I've read the Bible and it's around. Studies for and
It's kind of hard to go through the read.
I don't know, it's more than that. Only if it's
Might not make it.
not open questions. I'm open questions. It's a 7-story house.
Let's see, Olympics, Christian Talk. Essence writing?
Oh, essential. Yeah. That's pretty good. They got so much good stuff, so much awful stuff.
Amen.
At the beginning, he thought he weren't Catholic, you were going to hell. And by the end, he thought there's no difference between Catholicism and any other world religion. Not just Christianity, Buddhism, Irish. It's all the same stuff. The problem with the meeting schools, the Quran, the Bible, the Torah. Absolutely horrible stuff in there.
Wait, what are you on? Yeah,
Love your neighbor, it's okay to kill them.
yeah.
The same book.
You're like, I mean, like, I even think about, like, sort of a baby, too, like, he was killing people, man.
Raping and pillaging.
Slavery on. Yes, I mean, that's,
Sexism is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, well, this is 15 or so and a half.
I would label this as the future value of 5 years. And this is the 5 years from that. You might even put the date if you want. You know where you're at, right? This is 27. So really, it's interesting how many years we have left.
I think it's researching for you within.
Oh, okay, so now you got it. Should have for how many more years? The total was 30. Absolutely.
but not as good, like,
Or 12%, sorry. At 12%.
I'm trying to figure out the sure.
Yes.
Like everything's earned, qualified for the next 25 years.
Haley, did you guys get this cover? How did people do it? Did she put any points on it? Any extra points?
You have to
She
go
carved it out of 61. A lot of people get 51.
Wait, so she curved it out of 61?
Yeah, like, it was out of 73, but the points, like, it was out of 63, it was out of 68.
Dang, bro. How long am I living? Oh, wait, okay, the way she grades, she like add what we get on exams with homework points.
Like, midterm grade, she'll add, like, all your homework grade, push first grade.
Okay, guys. So, did you get the value for each of these then at the end of the annuity? Everybody get that? Okay. So let's write those down. That'd be the first step. And anything works like this. You know, you're going to have to sit and think about when are the cash flows? What are they? So let's do, we'll call them annuity 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So for the annuities, we're getting the future value, right, of the annuity. So for 1, 2, 3, 4. What's the future value of 1 at, which would be at the end of 5 years from now, right? How much is that? 47,646?
Yes.
Yeah, nothing to it. Future value, the other one is going to be at the end of 10 years, right? It's a 5-year annuity, but it's the end of 10 years from now. I mean 10 years from now. Right, guys? Everybody agree? So at the end of his 10th year of working, at the end of the first 5 years, he has this much in his account. At the end of the second 5 years, how much is going into the second account, we could say? How much is that? variety of ways we could do this. So that's the 15,000 one for 5 years. What did that grow to by the end of 5 years?
95, 292, 71.
Something like that?
Yes.
Sound good? Okay.
Would you use the same factor for both lows?
Sure, it's the same factor. Yeah, it's the same factor. It's 12%, 5 periods for growth, right?
But just 10 periods. So
And then you go into 10, it'll be different. Yeah, well, that's the time. The time is 10 years from now. So that was the future value for 5 periods. Yeah, okay? And then we're going to do a future value for 10 periods, but that's going to be 20 years from now, right, guys?
Yep.
So how much does he have in this third one here, right? 30,000 a year put in for 10 years. So what did that 300,000 grow to by the end of that 10-year span? So 20 years.
26,463.
526,463. All right? And then we're going to have a future value 30 periods from now when he thinks he's going to retire, right? Which is going to be 37.5 for 10 years, so 375,000 plus the interest added at 12%, right? Over that time. How much did that one go to?
658,077.
Now, you look at these and you think, oh, wow, what's really going to provide for my retirement is annuity 3 and 4, right? Let's be careful. How long are these going to grow? So these are all future values at the end of those terms, right? But they're all different years. One's 5 years from now, one's 10 years from now, one's 20, one's 30. How much time does he have until retirement with the first one? 25. So it's 1.12 raised to the 25th. It's a future value 25 periods from now, compounded at 12%, right, guys? So we're treating these now as all present values at time 0, right? They were future values when I calculated the annuity, but now I'm treating them as present values at time 0. Does that work?
Yes.
Yeah, because they are for purposes of computing. Okay, so we treat them as present value at time 0, and then we compound it for 25 periods. So what's the factor for 1.12 raised to the 25th if we want to use tables? Well, actually, the tables might not give me that. Do you have 25 in your table? 12%, 25 periods, is it on there?
Yeah.
It's just 1.12 raised to the 25th anyway. Future value, 3387, something like that?
Yeah.
You mean $1 invested for 25 years at 12% becomes $1.33? Is he in the right table?
Oh, not.
Future value of a what, guys? Of a sum. That's a sum left there. You don't have an annuity of that. Okay.
I don't want your retirement plan.
Yeah, I like that. You can retire young. Okay, yeah. So you do that. What's 1.12 raised to the 25th, which would be the future value of a sum, right? For 25 periods at 12%. What is the future value of a sum? 17 about even?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's 17 times 47,646? It's still a chunk, but it's not what we're going to have there. It's going to be a billionaire. Okay, so what's this?
Those numbers on file? 809,991.
So he's going to have $810,000 when he retires from that first 5 years. Got it? Okay, those first years are really important. And I didn't do them. I'm so upset with myself. I have half the wealth I would have had had I done it in the first 8 years of my career. But I didn't do it. Just spend it on women. Okay, anyway. All right. Screw. Okay, anyway, what's the rest we're going to do? How much time is left? After 10 years are gone, what does he have left to retirement? 20 years. Go ahead and do it. What do those grow to? What's 1.12 raised to 20? Not anywhere near 17, is it? What is it?
9.6.
And look what happens to you. God, just 5 years. Wow, it's amazing. We had exponential growth at 12%. $17 compared to $9.65 for each dollar invested. Wow. That extra 5 years really helped. What's that 95,000 going to grow into? put in almost twice as much money in those years, but it ends up being about as much when you retire. Got it? And it's real. Okay? All right, time matters is the point here. Okay? Obviously, the interest rate matters. Right? Okay, so, and that doesn't mean higher interest rates necessarily are better. I could get better than 12% too, expected return. Just invest in risky stocks. What does risk mean? You can lose your money.
Yeah.
You can lose your money in the stock market too. Trust me, it goes up and down, up and down, and up and down. But over time, what does it tend to do? If you're in a diversified investment across the stock market, it tends to go up. Yeah, it's done 12 to 13%. Who knows what the future's going to be? Really, what it does, you read the paper. You haven't read the paper yet. You're going to read the paper when we do WAC CAPM real soon. It's between 5 to 8% more than risk-free rate is what the stock market does over time. Wow, that's a lot, right? Risk-free slightly beats inflation. So it's huge, huge. Okay, anyway, guys. What's this one going to be? And by the way, can I change all these interest rates on you? You know, problem?
Yeah.
Sure, who cares? Change the number of periods, change the interest rates, it doesn't matter. Just calculate it. Okay, how many periods do we have left until he retires? That was a 10-year one, so there's 10 years left until he retires on the third one, right, guys? 32 to 42. So what's that? What's 1.12 raised to the 10th?
3.1.
3.1 instead of 9.7 instead of 17, yeah. So what does the 526 turn into? Still nice.
1,635,111.
But remember, that's not 5 years investing, that's 10 years investing, right? 10 years of putting in 30,000. And the first one was just 5 years of putting in 7,500. Everybody got the idea? And then on the last one, times what? It's the end of the 30 years, 1.0, right?
Yeah.
It's 1.12 raised to the 0th, right? Which is 1.0. So that's only 658,077. All right, so then what do? Add them all up, right?
Yeah.
What's he going to have when he is 42 years old?
42? 52.
Oh, 52, I apologize. Be nice if it's 42. At age 52.
4,022,401.
4,022,000. And how much?
401.
You guys get that? How many got that number? Not everybody. You know what you did wrong? His computer doesn't work, that's what he did wrong. Okay. Good. Happy? You know what you're doing. Okay, good. So it could be any number of periods, it could be any discount rates, who cares? It can be cash in, it can be cash out, it can be annuities, it can be lump sums. We can calculate an annuity and convert it to a lump sum. Okay, so now what's he going to do? He thinks he's going to retire and we'd like that ordinary payment. So what we just got is the future value of the retirement plan when he's 52, right?
Yeah.
How much can he pull out? Calculate that for me. And now we're 6%, right? 6% interest for how many periods?
40.
40. And what is this thing we got right now? It's not a future value anymore, really. That's a present value at that time. So if you treat that as a present value at time 0, right? Even though it's 32 years from when he starts working, right? Yeah, you're retiring at 52 and you start at 22. So, or 30 years, 30 years, 30, 30, okay? Got it. So N is 30, right? This is easy. N equals 30. Interest rate equals 6%. Everybody agree? Present value at that date, right? When he's, at the date he's 52 years old.
And it's 40 years.
Oh, it's 40 years he's going to live. Yeah, not 30. 30 was the years he worked. No, I keep trying to mess you guys up. N is 40, well, thank you. Okay? That's the hardest thing is to read your problem. You're going to wrote it yourself, I guess. The present value at the time he retires is $4,022,401. Okay? So what we want to know is what? What is the ordinary annuity payment? We said he could take it out at the end of the year. That'll give him a little bit more.
Well, I was thinking at the beginning of the year.
If you want it, yeah, a lot of times I'll make it an annuity due, But it's kind of weird because you earned your money and then you immediately won. But I don't know. You lived well the first year. Okay, anyway. So what'd you get? This is not hard. But it makes
Oh, wow.
numbers point.
I got a lot more money when I did it for the end.
End helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You don't want to take the money early. Leave it in.
But wouldn't I mean,
Another 12%.
wouldn't I have to take it out at the beginning?
It's 12% on everything you got added.
No, I know. What I'm saying is,
No, you don't have to take it out at the beginning.
but wouldn't I have to live past the age of 50?
Well, remember you made your salary that previous year. What are you spending everything you make? I guess you could take it at the beginning, but you know, I mean,
Yeah.
you got quite a bit of money by then. We're going to assume that you're frugal at all.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What's the ordinary annuity payment you got, guys?
And 267,335.
Was that the four
Does that sound right?
times the 6%?
That's at 6%.
That's not what I got.
If you did 40 years into 4 million, what would that be? Just that, if you just think about it. 40 into the 4 million, what do you get? 100,000? So it's 100 plus interest now, right? That he's going to draw. You get that much interest, really? I don't know, maybe. Do you really? How would you set it up? How would you set the problem up? What do we know? Whoops. You. Yeah, let's try that. How would you set this thing up with that 4 million? I want to know what? My annuity, ordinary annuity payment, right, is 4 million. Whoops, it's not much, it's unknown. This is what I want to know. What I'm calculating. That ordinary annuity payment times what?
The number that you get.
A present value of a ordinary annuity factor. N equals how many years? 40. Interest rate he's going to earn? 6%. That would equal what? The present value at time 0. True?
Yes.
Should be what it is. What's my present value at time 0? 4,022,401. Everybody got the 4 million. Are we right? Those of you numbered here. Okay. What is the present value factor for 40 periods, interest rate 6, for an ordinary annuity? What you get?
Present value.
Present value, a present value factor for that. Ordinary annuity.
15.05.
Wait a minute. We're using the wrong factor. It's not a present value factor. We want to know the ordinary annuity payment. Well, no. You know, that's right. 14, that's probably right. Because you're going to get more than the 100. Yeah. 14 point what?
So 15.05.
15.05 approximately. Divide that into 4 million, and how much is he going to get? How much is that?
I got 267,334.
334?
Yeah.
Well, maybe this wasn't too bad. I guess I had you deposit more than I've done other times. Okay, and you're in 12% too. But that's only at 6. That's you 6%, right?
Yeah.
This is 6%. Okay, it just seems too big. Okay. But let's add something. You don't really get to 12. You don't really get 12. If you're really lucky, you get 8. Because there's inflation. So in today's dollars, what would he be getting? But all these would be inflated all the way through, so we'd have to do that all the way through. But we can just take it out of that and find out what it would be in today's dollars.
Yeah.
So how would you discount that to now? This is, so for his first payment at the beginning of his retirement, right? Let's do his first payment and his last payment, what its present, what its value would be without inflation. Okay? So this is the other thing you got to look at. So 267 was pretty good, and you're only making 250, so you got there, didn't you? Except you got 40 years, and there's inflation the whole time. Okay? So let's see what 267,334 is worth in today's dollars. What would you do?
Probably like 1.02.
That would be a future value is going to be at the end of 40 years, is that right?
Yes.
So 41 years? 41 years from, not today, but 41 years from when he's 22 years old, right? So when you're comparing it to the 50,000 he's making at that time, what's that going to be worth? So if you had 267,334 that you were paid at the end of the 41st year, right? No. It's at the end of the 32nd. 33 years? So you're working for 30 years, 31 years. Okay. So you're working for 31 years. So let's discount that for 31 years. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He works for 30. At the end of the first year of retirement, he takes the money. So let's find out what that would be if there's 4% inflation.
4%?
Yeah. So I equals 4%, right? Number of periods equals 31. Is 1 over 1.04 raised to the 31st. So what's that worth in today's dollars? Just say it's 4% discount. The other way we could have gone is instead of using 12 for our compounding, we'd use 8 and we'd find out what it is. That would work fine too. Right? But if we can see the 267, that feels good. Okay. So what's 267,334 discounted at 4% for 31 periods? What'd you get? 79 what?
79,254.
Yeah, I'd hate to retire with that. That'd be awful.
Get a condo.
Today's dollars.
Yeah, I mean, I never done that.
Go to Florida and live nowhere near the beach. It's an hour drive. That's the middle of Florida, right? Right down the middle. It's an hour each way to the beach. Yeah, okay, not quite that nice. Okay, it's close. Towards the tip of Florida, it is an hour from the beach in any direction. Yeah. Okay. Well, what's it going to be when you die? The last year. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. So even though the number looked pretty good, it's not all that good, is it? When is he taking his last payment? If he dies at 92, it's 70 years out?
Yeah.
Right? Instead of 71, we'll say 70, right? Because you're going to die.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Okay, it doesn't feel bad when you're your age to talk about dying at that age. My dad is going to be 91 this year, so yeah. That's okay. He doesn't know how old he is anymore. He's got Alzheimer's. So, yeah, anyway, so he's doing good. He's healthy. He might live to 100. Who knows? He enjoys every day. He always enjoys everything that he eats because he doesn't remember having eaten that before. Except when he's a boy. He remembers all kinds of stuff when he was a boy. Really nice stories that I never heard before. Because you always talk about what's happening to you now. How many of you talk about what happened when you were a little kid? I didn't think about it. I don't remember it. Yeah, it's not that long ago. Imagine when you're 80. Anyway, so what's this one? What's this last payment going to be worth compared to today's dollars? How much?
17,168.
Can you see how people don't have much to live on in retirement?
Is it
That's real. But you get Social Security too. You'll get some Social Security to go with it, so you won't be that bad off. Yeah.
Okay, you kind of lost me in the middle somewhere here. What exactly are we calculating now? Like, what are these in numbers?
Well, this is the cash flow he's going to get.
Okay.
This is what it's worth in today's dollars, assuming 4% inflation.
And that's my first payment that
I depleted that. What you have to do with everything is, well, what's inflation going to do? Now, right now, we don't have very much inflation, right? But we've had years when we had 20% inflation, too. Over my lifetime, inflation's been 3 to 4%. On average. Over my investing career, it's been 3 to 4%. So I lost 3 or 4% of that 13% I've earned. I've still done really, really well. Those years turned So do you want to put money into certificates of deposit that earn 1 to 2%? Oh man, you're going in the hole. It's not quite as bad as putting in your pillowcase, but it's getting close. Okay, got to get invested.
And the first one when he retires, the second one when he dies.
Yeah, this is how much it's worth the year he retired. 79,254. This is how much the last payment he gets is worth.
Well, if we were at Haley, I'm down at 65, so.
Well, then you do better.
Yeah.
Right?
See?
The only problem is,
That's what killed you off early.
the only problem is you won't want to spend everything, so you won't know. Your heirs will do better. You won't. That's true. Yeah. It's the kind of fun stuff, don't you think, guys?
Yeah.
We can do all kinds of different things, though. There's a really cool problem in the book that I really encourage you to work. There's one that's, have you seen the one that is about an orchard?
Oh, no,
I like to use that problem and make it far worse. I rewrote it so that it has more things going on. But they have cash coming in and cash going out. And when you do the absolute amount of cash, by the way, always do that. Always lay out like we did here what the whole dollars are and when they are. Do that first, right? So you see what everything is. One thing that'd be cool here too. What if I asked you how much you invested? And do that with the what the problem is the orchard one. It's one of the problems.
Oh, okay, I don't.
It's one of the separate problems.
Is it about a vineyard?
Yes, not orchard vineyard.
Let's say number 8.
Wait,
320. Oh, 320.
Oh, yeah.
Purchase price of the business. Yeah, how much would you pay for that vineyard? When you add up all the revenues and expenses on that vineyard, it looks like a really good like really good investment. And then when you take the discounted present value of it, you realize that you're buying nothing. It's not worth much of anything. Wow. And you can do this with people. You're going to get rich, but you have to wait for your money until later. You're going to be a multi-millionaire, right? But you end up with 2%. You're taking a bunch of risk. Well, that's not good. I don't want that. I can earn 2% risk-free. I don't need to invest in something risky to get that. And a lot of times investments look like you're going to get rich. No, you don't. Somebody else is who's selling you the investment. Right? Not you. How much did he invest here? If you did this investment plan, how much did you invest? That's really easy to add up. How much is it? No, what's that? How much did you get?
Wait, you say for investing?
How much did you invest? How many dollars did you actually put out to get all this back? How much did you invest? $7,500 for 5 years, right?
Yeah.
How much was that? 7,500 times 5 years. And then 15,000 times 5 years. That's 75. So what? 37.5 plus. You know what it is? 37.5 and 75, and then 300. 30,000 for 10 years, right? And then 375. Add all that up. How much did you invest?
787,500.
787,500. And how much is he going to take out? 276,334 times 40. What's he going to take out? This is lovely, isn't it?
Wait, what did I just?
I love the stock market. Sorry, I don't like people manipulating it. I don't like, playing games with it. I don't like how much it fluctuates and on whims of investors. But I love the stock market. Right? I'm not retiring until I'm 70 or 72. But that's because I want to pay for my grandkids' college education in full before I retire. And my wife's 10 years younger than me, and I don't want her to ever have less than we have now. And I want to leave, probably, unless she lives forever, right? Or I live forever, both, right? We're going to leave a whole bunch to our grandkids. do, and they're responsible, right? So we're it's multiple generations now, right? Planning things. So how much was 267,334 times 4? So you're going to invest less than $1 million, you're going to get $10 million back. Deal. Like that. Time, you guys. By the way, that's investing at 12%. What if it was 13? Far less. What if it's 11? Far less. But what's the deal? This is really important so you don't get depressed as you're going through your life about this stuff. Interest rates consist of what, gang?
Pure risk.
Okay, risk premium, you're going to call it.
Pure interest rate.
Risk-free is this. What's the risk-free composed of?
Inflation.
Expected inflation.
And this.
A true return, real return, nominal return. Depends on who you talk to, what I call it. Probably a better term is nominal return. It's a true return. It's a rent of your money. Okay. Yeah. This is 2 to 3%. Most theoreticians agree. You get that for the rent of your money. Right now, Treasury bill rates or Treasury bond rates are 2 to 3%. Why? Because they expect no inflation, I guess. So I said, what if this is 4%? Right? Where are we to now? Right now? 6 to 7. And if this is 13% over here, if that 6 to 7 is 13%, what's this one over here? 6 to 7. That sounds like a risk premium to me for the stock market. That's it. What if inflation fires up and now we have, let's say our inflation, because this is going to stay 2 to 3. What if, so this is 2 to 3, plus, let's say inflation fires up to 6%, which people are terrified of, right? Right now it's less than that. So now that would mean the risk-free is no longer 6 to 7%. It is now 8 to 9%. But what would we still expect over here? 6 to 7%. Oh, so what goes up? What has to happen if there's more expected inflation? If expected inflation goes up by 2%, you'd expect the market to go to 15, and it tends to do that. What if expected inflation goes down like now? What if it's zero expected inflation, you guys, which we have right now? And so, whoops. What if it's zero expected inflation? So we got 2 to 3% here. Got the idea? If this is 0%, what would you expect the risk-free rate to be? 2 to 3%. It is. Okay? If you add 6 to 7% to that, where are you at? What do we expect the market to earn right now? 8 to 10%. And guess what it's been doing recently? Earning far more than that until this year. What's going up? Not expected inflation. We know what true inflation was. What's been higher is we've got better than back returns in recent years. So everybody says the economy's been horrible for the last 7 years under Obama. It has not. It's been incredible if you have money invested. Horrible if you're working for wages, because what happened to wages in the last 7 years? Nothing. What happened to minimum wage for the last 20 years? Nothing. I don't think so. Have they had one in 20 years? I'm not sure if they had one at all. We just talked about doing them, and some cities are starting to do them, right? National, still 7 1/4. National 7 1/4. Yeah.
I think it's actually at 775.
Yeah, we're gradually raising it though, but they tell you it's 775, but that's over 3 or 4 years.
They did it.
They just passed it though. It's good.
Yeah, a few months ago.
Because it's going to like 9, I think, in 3 or 4.
Oh, it's 9 in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, 775.
What does it need to be as much as it was in